This is section 8.1 of accelerated geometry, and it deals with the area of 5 different figures. So I will start with the first one. First one is the area of a rectangle. So a rectangle looks something like this. So it has opposite sides are parallel and equal, and all the 4 angles are 90 degrees. If I want to find the area of this, I want to figure out how many square units are inside of this rectangle. So I can kind of see that already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I think this is 15 square units. Now, how can I figure that out without counting? I would say, well, I have 5 columns, and I have 3 rows in each column. So I could say I have 5 of these columns times 3 in each of the columns, so this would be 5 times 3. So what would that be? It would be the number of units in the base times the number of units in the height. So therefore, the area of a rectangle is equal to the base times the height. So this is conjecture number 66. Area equals base times height. Okay, the next one is the area of a parallelogram. So this one is going to be conjecture number 67. A parallelogram looks something like this. Okay, this is how I can explain to you where the area of a parallelogram came from. I can take this piece over here and cut it off. After I cut that off, I can bring it over to this side and paste it on to this side. Once I paste it on to that side, then it's no longer going to be here anymore. So I'm going to erase that and draw in that line here. So I took my parallelogram, and by cutting that piece off and moving it over, I have the area of a parallelogram is equal to the area of a rectangle, just by moving that piece over. And the area of a rectangle is base times height. So I can come up here and say now, conjecture number 67, the area of a parallelogram is equal to its base times its height, or area is equal to B times H. So it has the exact same formula as the area of a rectangle. Okay, the next one is conjecture number 68, and this is the area of a triangle. Now I'm sure some of you already can blurt that out and say the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, but where does that come from? So I will draw a triangle, and this is its base, and this is its height. What I do for this one is I copy it. So I do a copy of this, and when I copy it, I then take the copy and I put it over here. So this exact same triangle is now over here, and so I actually now have 2 of my triangles. Okay, so the area of now what I have is a parallelogram. When I take the green and the yellow figure together, it's a parallelogram. It is base times the height. But I don't want the whole parallelogram. I only want the part that was the triangle. So what do? I take half of the figure that I have here. Okay, so half of the area of the parallelogram is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. And half of the area of a parallelogram is the triangle. So a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So I'm going to save time and say, here you go, conjecture number 68. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, or area equals 1/2 BH. Now these development of these formulas you are expected to be able to do. So on a quiz, if I say, where did the area of a triangle come from? You should be able to say, oh, you draw a triangle, you copy it, you flip it over, and you attach it on, and you now have a parallelogram. You know the area of a parallelogram is base times height, and so therefore the area of a triangle is going to be half of that base times height. So you would be expected to talk about that. Okay, next one. Conjecture number 69 is the area of a trapezoid. Okay, a trapezoid looks something like this. So in a trapezoid you have equal bases. So this is base 1 and this is base 2. In fact, I'm going to go back. I think I'm going to just change those. Change this to a base 1 and this base 2. Okay, the distance between the bases, the perpendicular distance between those bases is height. Now my job is to find out what is the formula for the area of this trapezoid. Okay, I do the same thing I did with the triangle. I copy this. I make a copy, cut it out, and then I come over here and I paste it over onto this side. So now what do I have? If I look at this figure with the attached extra trapezoid on there, I have a parallelogram. Whoops. Come on. So I have the area of a parallelogram. And the area of a parallelogram is base times height. Okay, now, what is the base? So the area of the parallelogram is equal to the base. Now, here is base 1. When I flip this over, base 2 came down here and base 1 went up there. So the base of the parallelogram is, whoops, base 1 plus base 2 times the height is still the same. Okay, but that's for the parallelogram. I only want the trapezoid. So the trapezoid is half. So if I take half of the area of the parallelogram, it'll be 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And half of the parallelogram is the trapezoid. So the area of the trapezoid is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. Or area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And we have one more left. Conjecture number 70 is area of a kite. Okay, a kite has two equal consecutive sides there, and then these two sides are equal. Okay, in here I have a diagonal, and I have another diagonal. This is what I do. I copy this, flip it over, and turn it over here. I copy this, cut it out, flip it over, and put it over here. I do the same thing with this piece. Fits in right there. I copy this, cut it out, turn it over, and fits in there. So I have taken that kite and I've made it into a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is equal to base times height. Okay, now the base, let's do a different color. This base right here is equal to this diagonal here, which I will call diagonal 1. So the area of a rectangle is equal to the base, which I'm now going to change into diagonal 1. And the height of this rectangle is the same as this diagonal, which I'm going to call diagonal 2, times diagonal 2. So that is still the area of a rectangle. But my kite inside here is half of that rectangle. So half of the area of the rectangle is equal to 1/2 times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay, so now what is half of the rectangle? It's the kite. So the area of a kite is equal to 1/2 times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So the area is 1/2 diagonal 1 diagonal 2. So those are the area conjectures for lesson 8.1.